All right, peace, peace, Ali. And go ahead and put 9 in the chat room if you can hear me and see me clearly. Let me get some confirmations first before I begin. Let me get some 9s in the chat if you can hear me and see me. All right, cool. We good. We good. We good. We're doing questions and answers. So basically, any questions that you have pertaining to metaphysics, spirituality, or the occult is all on the table. So the way I like to do it now, based on the last Q&A, is put question before your question, so I know it is a question, and I'll go ahead and answer it. I don't need any more 9s, y'all. Peace. Welcome, everyone. Before we start as well, too, know that this is sponsored by L9shop.com, the number 9shop.com. Appreciate everybody for coming through, copping things from the shop. We got basically everything you need for your metaphysical needs. So next time you're looking for crystals, smudges, and all that good stuff, make sure to check us out. Also, my main website is sollyMyers.com, just like my name. Okay, looks like we're good. Looks like everything's well. So go ahead and put some questions in there. Let's get it cracking. Remember to put question before your question. That'll make it easier for me. All right. Okay, first question. I see, shout out to Mashburn. I see you leave a lot of comments on my videos or whatever. And apologize to everyone. I don't respond to every question. So that's why I do the live Q&A now. I'm trying to do this once a week. How can you do an instant raise your vibration today? I mean, there's many ways to raise your vibration, but for general, I would say probably the best thing that you can do that's easy that I can give for just the general public right now is the natural is drink plenty of water. First thing you wake up, when you wake up, your body's dehydrated. So if you drink a plenty of water, that'll rehydrate you. Water vibration, so that automatically raises it. Also, I put out a video called What to Do in the Morning, or something you can do first thing in the morning for spiritual growth. Something I've been saying every morning before I wake up, or after I wake up, before I get out of bed, is give thanks for another day to learn, grow, and become more enlightened. I've said that mantra now for years. When I wake up, some people may call it a prayer, morning ritual, or something like that. But just saying those words automatically raises my vibration, and the people that I've taught that to as well. So drink plenty of water, say some sort of affirmations in the morning, maybe get your body moving or something like that. A lot of things dealing with your spirituality is connected to your physical and mental health. That's why you see the Trinity is mind, body, and soul. One affects the other. So doing something even small for each one to help propel you throughout the day. So that's something quick you can do. Next question I see. All right, let me go up just a bit. Diseases the corresponding number. What up, T, by the way? What's up, to Moan? Um, diseases the corresponding numbers. You're advanced in your numerology. You actually took my course or whatever. So I know your study of numerology is advanced. So this may work for you. I'm not sure about everyone else. But each number, as you know, is corresponds to an astrological sign. So if you wanted to see how a number could affect you as far as disease, look at the number correspondence to astrological sign, and then look up the physical correspondence for the astrological sign. Let me give an example. Make this way more practical. Let's say the number 3. As you know, 3 is ruled by Jupiter. You also know by taking Tahuti numerology that Jupiter is a ruler of Pisces or whatever. Pisces is the feet, so 3 would be associated with the feet. Now, if you see, now once again, because you took my numerology course, if you see a number that is non-complementary or the elements are off, then that could denote some sort of disease or physical ailment in association with that number. So basically, if you see a 3 next to like a 3 life path and maybe a 7 gift number, 7 and 3 are obviously opposite ends based on the element. So that could denote that there's a possible physical ailment that could take place. Anything ruled with the 3 and anything ruled with the 7. So that's something you can do. That's kind of a very difficult question to explain very quickly. But that's for you, T. I know you got that. Question: did we choose to come here? Everyone chose to come here. There's the way the spiritual world, and especially when you're dealing with not your humanity, not your ego, when you come out the body, when you're strictly a soul and you're in the spiritual world, there's nobody that can tell you what to do. Like if you look at it from a human standpoint, your parents can tell you what to do. You go to school, your teachers can tell you what to do. But when you're in the spiritual world, no one can tell you what to do. Just like in our physical world, you can tell your children to clean their room, but you can't physically make them clean their room. It's only if they want to clean it, if will they clean it. So look at that same analogy when it deals with in the afterlife or the spiritual realm. You can be given the option to come to Earth, but you also have to be like, I agreed to those terms. I agreed to come here. Now, most people forget that they signed contracts to come here. Only people that have connected with certain beings or connected with past life aspects of themselves, like we know for sure that we chose to come down here. And furthermore, you know what contracts you set in place. Um, a simple way I can have people look at this, especially people that are more advanced on their spiritual path, that they may have found some past lives or they may have connected with their higher self for certain higher aspects of themselves. Like you'll know the contrast you made because it usually comes through in relationships. You will have certain people come in and out of your life that for whatever reason, if you did not meet that person, it wouldn't help you do XYZ. Like you were destined to meet that person. There's a certain thing called destiny and fate that is very much prevalent on this country, on this planet. A lot of people don't like to agree with it, but if you look at all the situations in your life, you were destined to meet certain people. You were destined to be in certain locations. There was like so much that you could have done, but you were destined to be there. That lets you know that there's some sort of contract or some sort of rules in this dimension. But to go back to your question, yeah, we all chose to come here. I appreciate that, Beverly. Yeah, T, you're right on their question. Using numbers to help someone heal themselves. Say their number three is out of balance. You tell them to go dance or comedy or entertainment or something like that, having fun, communicating, social gatherings, small distance travel. Yeah, anything denoting that three in relation to your question. Yeah, that would work. What up, Danielle? What it do, yo? All right, hold on. It's coming fast now. Question: is there a special way to ask any spirit for the help and give offering? No, there's not a special way. By the way I teach it, is the safest and easiest way is through the altar. But you can just light a candle, give an offering, just state whatever you need or whatever you want or whatever. So there was no special way to ask the spirit. When you say spirit, I'm assuming you're talking about ancestors. You're speaking of deities or angels or elementals or different other beings, then you want to follow whatever protocol that they have set forth for you to contact them. Some use sigils, some use names, some use colors. It just depends on the type of spirit. But if you're just talking about ancestors, give an offer and then state whatever you want. You can talk to them that way very easily. Question: do you find using pendulums effective when communicating with ancestors and guides? It can be effective as far as a crutch. Any tool that you use, tarot, numerology, astrology, pendulums, oracle cards, Ouija board, those are all tools. So any tool can help you get the job done. Just like if you had to nail a hammer into a wall, obviously a hammer will help you nail that into the wall, but you can do it without a hammer. It's just a tool. So that yes, it'll be effective, but when you deal with divination, it's not going to just give you the answers. You still have to put your intellect on it. So, using an example of a pendulum, you can in your mind, in your subconscious mind, because that's where you pull in information when you're using a pendulum. You can in your mind be like, I really like this guy. I really, really like this guy. I want to be with this guy. So you go to the pendulum and say, should I be with this guy? And because you so much want to do it, you can sway the pendulum to swing in a particular direction to give you a yes answer. Usually people use clockwise or whatever. So yes, it can help, but from what I've seen, especially with the pendulum, people allow their subconscious and their ego to get in the way of their answer. How can I rid myself from the evil that feels like been placed on me? Um, because I'm not speaking to you directly, some of the safest and general things people do or spiritual baths. That's probably the safest and easiest thing you could do. And a spiritual bath is as simple as putting sea salt and water. That could be one simple spiritual bath. Obviously, there's many other ingredients you can put in. Just Google spiritual baths, but just do a spiritual bath. I would start there before you do something intrusive like getting with a shaman or a spiritual person to retrieve your soul. It's a practice called soul retrieval. Also, you can get a spiritual cleansing. You can go to someone who's versed in Reiki. There's other things you can do as far as employing people, but I would say just start out with a simple spiritual bath and see if that helps alleviate some of the things you're dealing with. Question: how do I find a specific deity to work with, like one for protection? Like I'm being attacked from coworkers, like they are preying on me. Just put in deity for protection. Whatever deity you want to work with, or whatever you're wanting to work with a deity for, just put in her name in Google and put whatever you're wanting. So, deity for protection, deity for love, deity for money, deity for abundance, whatever you want, just put deity and whatever in Google. Some people may say Anubis, some people may say Shango. It just depends on whatever one resonates with you. But that's where you can start and just find the one that resonates with you the most. After you see the list, one to stick out to you, one or two, then choose that one. Appreciate everybody. We up to like 90 something people tuned in. So I appreciate everybody for coming through. Remember to put question before your question. I'm trying to go through, as long as it's streamlined, I can do it rather easily. But if it starts jumping all crazy, it makes it harder. Um, Question: what crystal would you say is more powerful than Motivite? I use Motivite and it's real, but it's very subtle for me. Crystals are going to be different for each individual. Some people get a clear quartz and think that's the most powerful crystal there is. But you ask me, um, ones that's more powerful than Motivite. Maybe not more powerful overall, but it may be more powerful for you. Dambarite, apophyllite is a good one. It may be lapis lazuli. Those three you might find maybe a little bit more powerful for you than than Motivite. Question: I had a problems making a purchase at your site. Do you not take debit cards? Yes, we take debit cards. When you go to checkout, you have to check out through PayPal. Once you go through PayPal, there'll be a link that says I do not have an account. Use a debit card. Click that link and you can enter your debit card information that way. Also, if you're having super problems, there's a contact number on the homepage of L9 Shop. And if someone doesn't answer, just leave a message, whatever, and she'll contact you back. It's Sensor Rate, by the way. She'll contact you back. Unfortunately, I can't answer the phone for the shop anymore. It becomes, hey, since I got you on the line, brother, I got one question. It turns into 20 million questions, man. I love helping people, but I can't be on there answering like 50 minutes of questions on every call. It was becoming a little troublesome. Um, can you use a black altar cloth for your ancestor altar? I don't see why not. Once again, though, someone else would tell you you only should use white or you should only use yellow, you know what I mean? But you're asking me, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter, man. But have an ancestors look and be like, man, I was going to go feed off that altar, but she has a black altar cloth. It's not going to happen, yo. If you can't see me, I don't know what the problem is. Apparently, I guess I'm still good. Hey, what up, Big John? What it do, bro? Also, last Q&A, someone asked about poverty consciousness, and I cannot forget. I forgot to tell you to go get my brother's book, Chris Enlighten. Yeah, Chris Huffman, Poverty Consciousness on Amazon. Run and get that. That is the best book you can get for elevating your abundance and prosperity mindset. Poverty Consciousness. I know Nakisha put that in the chat last time. I forgot to mention that. So pardon itself, but you definitely want to get that. No, speaking of Miss Naughty, what up, Nakisha? Yo? Are there any mantras that help remove blockages? The best mantra for helping remove blockages is the Ganesha mantra, Ganapate Namaha. Hey, what up, Jazz? What it do? Jazz, the medium in the building. Hey, put your URL in there again, Jazz. I asked you to do that last time. I'm not sure if you did. I don't know your website by name. If I see it, I'll say it. But definitely, if you're looking for a medium, you need to holler at Jazz, man. All right, that's cool, T. Hey, what up, Danielle? Uh, I've been seeing the letter Y in various things like objects. What could that mean? To be honest, I think that's one of those things and this is a lot with numbers as well. I have to be careful because I know people take what I say the wrong way when I talk about these numbers and synchronicities or whatever. Whenever something pops into your consciousness, your mind automatically searches for it. The best example I can use is you cop a new car. It could be like a Chrysler 300. Soon as you cop that car, now every day you seeing mad people with the whip or whatever. That's because your mind is aware of it and now is looking for other spots in the world, that it is. Science call it confirmation bias. When you think something or feel a certain way, you're looking for different ways in the world showing you how you're right or whatever. I'm thinking that's a lot with these numbers and also with the question you're asking. You're seeing the letter Y. Well, the letter Y is in a bunch of words, not to insult your intelligence, but letter Y is in a bunch of words. Now, if it really is something spiritual going on that the Y is trying to tell you a message, I've never really heard of it giving you a message. But something you can do, and this is just what my spirit told me, something you could do is look up the Hebrew letters and look at the Hebrew letter for the equivalent of Y. Look at that Hebrew letter, get it, and just stare at it, what we call scrying. Sit, light a candle, just stare at that letter Y and see what comes to you. So you may have something spiritual going on because my spirit really told me something. What up, Ricky? Peace, peace. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Always enjoy your time. Appreciate that. Okay, I'm not answering any more questions about numbers you see and stuff like that. I made videos about that. Another thing too, the more Q&As I do, if I get the same question, especially if I talked about it during live or if I made videos on it, I'm not going to really talk about it too much here. Hey, what up from Toronto? I purchased your book, Deity Linkage. Awesome book. Question for you. Can I have several deities on one altar at the same time? Very much so. Just did a video on there about how many deities to have on the altar. What I recommend is you have at least one god and one goddess. But if you have, according to my book, if you found many deities that you resonate with, then yes, you can have them on the altar. One thing I will caution you, though, is to look up their mythology and make sure that they didn't have any beef within their story. Certain deities have had beef with other, like Set and Heru is a perfect example in ancient Kemet. You may not want to put Set and Heru on the same altar. So look up their story, make sure they didn't have any quote unquote enemies. What up, Christian, Cheryl, Angela, Keisha? Are your reading prices like to do a reading website? I do. I don't call them readings. I call them consultations. But when you sign up with a consultation with me, I'm versed in numerology, astrology, tarot, oracle, and also I'm just highly intuitive. Usually, I don't even pull out any tools. But sometimes people ask a question about, their purpose or something like that. To be honest, astrology is probably the best divination system that we have for finding your purpose. I also use numerology. So it just depends on like the person I'm speaking with, but I don't call them readings, I call them consultations. Go to my website, sallyMyers.com, and click on one-on-one and you can see it there. What up, Jonathan? Peace, bro. Bryce, good day to you as well. If so, can I call on them at the same time, like at the beginning of the day? Yes. If the question is about the deities, you can call on all your quote unquote deities at one time. I call it your spiritual dream team. What I like to do, this is something different that may resonate with some certain people that have a lot of deities on the altar. Is the way I like to work with spirits, especially non-humans. So you're talking about real spirits. Is I like to work with them one-on-one at first, just to get the vibration or energy, so I know their vibration. When you have like 3 or 4 different spirits or deities or anything that you're working with, you will have something happen, and you may not know for sure what specific energy delivered that quote unquote message or that happening or whatever. So when you work with them one-on-one, you get to know them quote unquote personally. Then when they're in a group, then you can know like, okay, that's Oshun. Okay, that's an earth elemental. Okay, that's my grandmother. You feel me? Something like that or whatever. That's the way I like to do it personally. Ali, please help. I did a spiritual cleanse about 2 weeks ago and recently took my S baths. Now my skin is breaking out. What do you recommend to put my cleanse? Look up herbs that help with skin disorders and blood disorders. Look up herbs that help with skin disorders and blood disorders. And I would add that. He just made a video about that and check out Pretty Boss TV. Yeah, shout out to Kendra too, man. That's my people. Can you discuss ancestor money quickly? Can I simply pay off their debt and provide offers without working with them per se? Get an altar, ancestor altar, burn Joel's paper, ancestor money. I've really made a bunch of videos on that one. I ain't about to do that to the people that really have followed me. I'm not trying to be funny. Just really look at a video and take your time looking at it. Burn offers are required every day. Burn offering is it required to do every day? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. If you're talking about burning ancestor money, no, it's not required to do every day. Like I've stated many times, ancestor money is like if you're going to do your ancestor altar and you're like, I want to do the bare minimum, the ancestor money is not what I would tell you to do. And like I said, I sell the stuff. So it's not like I'm trying to tell you something that isn't true based on my experience. If you're starting an ancestor altar, you're really starting at square one. I would have you focus on giving a daily food offering. Food is just a portion of whatever you eat. Now, if you've been doing your ancestor altar, you just want to do it the quote unquote way I do it, I would start with food offering, burning Joel's paper every day. It's okay to use saints. It's okay to use whatever you want. I've had at least 2 people that followed Jesus teachings and believed Jesus was the actual person. So they had Jesus on their offering, on their altar. So you can have saints on there as well. You can work with whatever energies you want to work with. Mount rituals, when is the best time? It depends on what ritual you're wanting to do. So there's really no best time. It depends on what you're wanting to do. To give you something else to chew on. Let's say that you're wanting to do something as far as advancing your prosperity and money. Then you may want to do it on a day that corresponds with Jupiter. So this would be either Thursday or a 3-day, something like that. That's something you could do. But there's no best times. It depends on the ritual that you're doing. Now, if you're just doing a regular general ritual, then any time would work. But if you're doing something that is in alignment with certain astrological or astronomical things, do you want to follow that? Like if you want to do something when if you want to do something when a planet Jupiter was in Leo, then obviously you do it during that time or whatever. So it just depends on what system you're working with. But I'm not sure if you're versed in any divination systems, John. Pardon me if you are. But if you're versed in a system, you want to correspond it with whatever dates and times pertaining to your system. Like with me with numerology, then I would incorporate the number into the ritual. Question: if you have parts of your childhood that are blocked, what can you do to work on blocking those memories? Perfect question. This is the best question I've gotten all day. And no offense to anyone else. Because it's a question I haven't gotten before, and it's a question I haven't made a video on. I've never spoke about this on the radio, Mind Right Radio, when we were doing it. So this is an excellent question. And it will have to come from the Keisha, Miss Naughty. Um, this is a ritual I'm about to give you. I'm gonna give you the short version of it. What you can do is all right, take the time of age that you were when you want to meet with that child. So if it was age 6 that you had trauma, or age 4, 3, whatever age, take that age and then imagine how you look during that age. After you know that for sure, if you have a picture to refer to, that'd be even better. But just go into a silent meditation. And what you want to do is take some deep breaths and visualize a stairwell going down, like a staircase going down. Staircases going down represents going into the subconscious mind. So I like to start out a lot of meditation visualizations that way. So picture that staircase going down. Slowly descend down the steps, counting 1, 2, 3, 4. When you get down to about 50 or 100, you should be at a decently relaxed state. Imagine that you're walking into your childhood home when you get down to the steps. Once you get there, sit in a chair and have a chair opposite of it. So when you see that, allow the young person, the 3-year-old, your former self, to come into the room and sit in that chair right in front of you. So at this point, you should be visualizing you sitting in a chair, seeing your old self. At that time, you want to talk to your old self as if you're the parent. You also want to ask for forgiveness, and you want to forgive that part of yourself. Any kind of traumatic experience during that time, you want to talk about it, discuss it, allow that child to give you feedback and speak to you as well. At first, it's going to feel like you're making it up. Then it's going to go on autopilot. Once it go on autopilot, you know you're not making it up. There's a part of ourselves that's in the spiritual realm. The ritual that I just gave, you can do it for more than just what I gave it for. But that should answer your question, Akeisha. And the way you want to do it is, hold on, there's some more stuff for you. Do this during a full moon, either one day before the full moon, or one day after the full moon, or the day of the full moon. Also, you can light a candle with this as well, and do it in the evening. That's for you, Nikisha. But anybody can do that ritual that I just gave. What up, Sleepy Hollow Tips? Greg Claire, what up, yo? Starting to see some names I haven't seen before too, man. All right, Pretty Nikki. Peace, Ali. I learned the practice of burning ancestor from you. Why do so many people feel that you should only use the hell bank notes if you have angel Asian? Oh, okay, I got you. Why do people think you should only burn the notes if you have Asian ancestry? Great question. Actually, I made a video about this one too. The ancestor money of different cultures and ancestor money, something like that. I don't know all my titles off the top of my dome, but obviously, burning a jolt paper in the Asian culture. But if you look at it, if you even being melanated, me personally, I'm melanated. My mom's black, my dad's black. My 2 past lives, I know for sure I was a European. In my last lifetime, I was actually in Asia, in Shaolin. So I'm an African American, quote unquote. but have past lives in other cultures. What I'm telling you is there, as far as I know, I don't know this for certain, but I personally don't believe there's no soul that has only been one race and one gender every single incarnation. So if you look at it, your soul pool, your soul family, your ancestors, including your ancestors, all had different ethnicities or whatever. Now, as far as this lifetime, I can't tell you the pinpoint exact reason for sure. I mean, I have my own postulations and opinions, but I can't tell you for sure why it works, even with Asian, the Asian imagery on the Jaws paper now. Why it works for so many melanated people and European people, just people in general. Like I said, I have my opinions, but from what I can tell, it works. And like I said before, based on just pure science, you have been more than one race. Your ancestors have been more than one race. You right now, if you track back 3 generations, you're not going to have just one pure race in your bloodline. I would say there's few to no people on this planet, unless you live in a culture, unless you live in a culture and environment and tribes in remote locations, then you possibly may have the same race in every generation for as back as you can count or whatever. But for the most part, people in America, you got a mixed melting pot of things or whatever. That's why we have a lot of biracial. That's why we have a lot of just different dark people with straight hair. We have a lot of different things going on in America because it's the melting pot or whatever. So I hope that answered your question. I hope I didn't ramble, whatever, but that's what it is for now. Uh, hey, Ollie, I learned that setting up gateway questions for the spirit, deity, or ancestor answer to make sure you are communicating with the right people, so to speak. Your thoughts. There's been very few cases that I've heard of, either personally or in general, where someone had placed an ancestor on the altar and some disruption came about. So if you had a specific deity or a specific ancestor that you know for sure is causing disruption or whatever, then you would just simply take them off the altar. If you're truly worried about it, then only address the ancestors that you know for sure have your best interests at heart. So, me personally, I don't worry about that. Like, I've never had any problems as far as that. The way I look at it is I can have my worst enemy in jail. And if I'm putting money on his books, when he gets out of jail, he probably ain't gonna be my worst enemy anymore. So even if you had an ancestor that quote unquote didn't like you or whatever, if you're taking care of them, usually people don't bite the hand that feeds you. Like I said, I have heard cases, very few, very, very few cases where people have said some disruption happened after putting a particular ancestor on the altar. But that could have been some other situations as well. What I'm saying is it could not have been that particular ancestor. So if you're just thinking about this hypothetically, I would dismiss it out of my consciousness. If you're really going through this, then obviously what I share should help you a little bit. Favorite Wu Tang song? What up, T? Like you would ask a ill question. I love "Can't Go to Sleep." It's kind of like verses I really like. I like RZA and Ghostface verse on "Impossible." Pointed to the charm in his laugh, told him rock it with respect. That Ghostface verse is probably the illest Ghostface verse ever. Off the top of the door, I might say I can't go to sleep, but I know that's not my favorite Wu Tang. Wu Tang ain't nothing to f with. I've actually seen that live. That's why I like that one a lot. Wu Tang Clan ain't nothing to f with. I seen that joint live, and I swear to you, it's like a mosh pit, yo. First time I've ever seen, like, I've only been to hip hop concerts or whatever, but going to that Wu Tang concert, it was literally a mosh pit. It was like Mexican, Asian, white, of course, melanated cats or whatever. It was a melting pot of people, and cats were like moshing us. It was crazy, yo. Wu Tang has a real true following, but you only know that if you've been to one of their concerts. When is the best time to do a moon ritual? During full moon or new moon. New moon is when you want to bring or attract things. Full moon is when you want to get rid of things. Okay, I went up too far. Hold on. Appreciate the compliments, y'all. Question, this may be a separate video for you, but do you mind making a book list that you read to get where you are today, especially discussing chakras? I've thought about that. Anatomy of the Spirit is the best. When I was early on doing my research, especially doing the chakras, The Anatomy of the Spirit by Caroline Mays was probably the best book dealing with the chakras. The reason I love that book is it gives real life examples. When people talk about the chakras and deal with the chakra, it make it too metaphysical and too esoteric. For my Accelerator members, I have the Mastering Chakras module. It's going to be the most practical chakra information you probably ever heard. But Caroline Mays' book is an excellent read as far as the chakras. Should limitation be set for your first offering? I read that you shouldn't petition a deity initially, but simply establish a relationship. I have so much to get off my chest. I I sort of agree with that as far as like establishing a relationship. Um, yeah, me personally, I wouldn't do too much petitions when you first start the altar. But if there's something that's really that you need or something like that, then I mean, I can't tell you not to, especially if you're in a dire situation. But me personally, I wouldn't. I would build a relationship. It's like taking a chick out or taking a female out. Sorry. It's like taking a female out and you ask her to pay for dinner and you want to go to the crib and do things on the first time you ever meet her. You know what I mean? You need to build a relationship. That's with anybody, you know. Would you recommend working with Jupiter for money rituals? Yes. How do you find out your past lives? I made a video talking about how to find out past lives. The easiest way and the simplest way, but probably the most expensive way, is getting with someone who's versed in doing past life readings. Me personally, I don't do past life readings exclusively. Past life has definitely come up in my consultation, especially now, especially within the past year or so, after I've gotten way more comfortable doing consultations and also becoming more psychic. Past lives come up a lot more often than not now when I do consultations. But me personally, I don't do past life regressions or stuff. So I would get with someone who does past life regression. I don't even know anyone I can tell you for sure, go to this person that hooked you up. Um, Asking yourself in a dream is a good way of what it's called is dream incubation. What you do is you let the last thing be as you fall asleep, the last thing on your mind be your question. So, using this example, if I wanted to do what's my past life, I'm laying down in bed, I'm falling asleep, and I'm just posing that question over and over in my consciousness. What is my past life? What's my past life? Past life, past life. Let that be the last thing you think about as you transition to sleep. Usually within 3 days, you'll get your answer. So that's one thing you can do. Two things you can do: get with a qualified individual that can do past life regressions, or do dream incubation and ask your spirit what your past life was. When doing spells, do you have to write red petition? Do you have to write red petition or red ink? It just depends on the ritual, but it's common. That's a common practice. So, but no, you don't have to. Thing with magic and the thing with spirituality, you don't have to do anything for step by step according to someone else's rules. It's another one of the things that is kind of like a thorn in my side. People thinking there's a 1, 2, 3 protocol step by step for everything. When anybody gives you something step by step, that's step by step according to their rules. Even early on my path, man. So I'm not telling you something that I just developed in the past few years. Early on my path, when someone said do it 1, 2, 3, do it this way, I would switch it up. I would add on. It's like cooking. You know, if you get a meal from Betty Crocker or get a meal out of a cookbook, more than likely you're going to add your own spices. You're going to do your own thing to it. So look at your spirituality the same way. Start to start to develop your own system, your own protocol, your own regimens. What I've noticed from me and the people I work with, the same thing. You make something your own and it becomes more powerful because you're following someone else's rules. You're gonna reap whatever they put out there in the universe. When you start making it your own thing, they say the ceiling's the limit. I say the ether's the limit because when you make it your own thing, it's really limitless. You feel me? Can I put a friend of mine on the altar that passed away on my ancestor altar? I say yes. You asked me, I say yes. I have non-blood relatives on my altar. A lot of other people will tell you no. I say yes, though. Question. All right, hold on. I think I went too far. I was in my 20s when I started my path. How do you train your mind to stay focused in a dream realm? Is actually putting your intention on it. What I recommend is keeping a dream book. Just a simple practice of keeping a dream book. So let your spirit know that you find this important. And if you start doing that, that's just a way to keep your mind focused on it. Obviously, reading books about dreams, listening to documentaries about dreams, especially before you go to sleep. Spend the last hour of your day reading, researching about dreams, reviewing your dream journal, just keeping it in the forefront of your mind. That's how you do it. You by studying, by being aware, keeping it in your conscious awareness. That's how you do it. The humming you've been hearing in your ear, the technical tinnitus, um, that's the medical terminology for it. Because there is a medical condition where you hear humming and ringing in the ear. It's called tinnitus. The spiritual reason for that is communication from higher beings, mainly angels or whatever. A lot of people hear that humming when they're getting a transmission from a higher being or angel. So what I recommend is when it happens, monitor whatever you're thinking about at that moment. If you're reading something, pay attention to what you're reading. If you're watching something, pay attention to what you're watching. Usually it's some sort of message that accommodates that humming in the ear. What success have you had with Gallery of Magic books? If you're talking about the Damon Brand books, the Words of Power I found was very effective and also magical servitors. Oh, you said work with Jupiter during Jupiter retrograde. I'm the wrong person. Wrong person. I'm the wrong numerologist. I don't consider myself an astrologer, but I'm the wrong person that studies astrology or versed in astrology. I'm the wrong person to ask when it deals with retrogrades, bad numbers, bad days in a week or whatever. I'm the wrong person to ask. Yes, I will work with Jupiter. Even when something's in retrograde, even when something is not in a favorable position, there's ways to still work with it. A simple example I can give of this is when the stock market is low, does people avoid the stock market? No, when the stock market is low and when stocks are low, people are coming in and buying a bunch of stocks up or whatever. So there's I I I, I know the question you're asking. I just don't like people looking at it like that. So just call Jupiter's in retrograde, Mercury's in if Mercury's in retrograde, am I gonna stop talking? Probably not, or whatever. Jupiter's in retrograde. Am I not going to still get abundance? Probably. You know what I mean? It just the numerology and astrology. This is a plus degree, and this is for people that get it. They work with your consciousness. All the divination system, numerology, astrology, they work with your consciousness. So if you think something is bad, then that number is going to reiterate how bad it is. That planet is going to reiterate how bad it is. If you think something's bad, all your divination is going to reiterate what's bad. If you're scared of something, all the numbers and the planets are going to do is make you fearful more. But it works with your consciousness. The reason why Chinese astrology works, the reason why Western astrology works, the reason why Vedic astrology or Jyotish work is because people's consciousness believe it works. If you took away the belief, a lot of these systems wouldn't work. Whole nother lesson. Question, are you still in contact with any ET beings? The contact took a different form after my initial contact. It went from, first contact was through meditation. Then it went from them communicating using, it's only so much I want to share this on YouTube, using my environment to manipulate my environment to get communication. What I noticed was I had to believe I was in contact before they can just do. The best way the higher beings contact with you is through telepathy. They speak through you mind to mind. Usually people have to work through certain things, having an encounter, having some sort of synchronicity. For me, it was past that. I had a physical encounter in the mind, and then I had physical interactions with them using my physical environment. After that, it became more mind to mind. So I hope that answers your question. I'm probably a little weird as hell too. But I know there's other people. Like I made that video, Motivate, my first ET encounter. And I said on that video, I think it's important that more people that look like me, melanated, black, African American, whatever you want to call it, speak about our contact with ETs. When you research the thing, when you look it up, it's usually a lot of European. I'm a melanated person. I'm definitely a contactee. We need more people that look like me, simply sharing, their experience. Mine is on YouTube. You can look it up. Question is, have you had dreams with unknown people? If so, would they be ancestor guides, people you know in a past life, or someone you met in the future? Depends. It could be all those possibilities. It literally could be all those possibilities. It could be a guide, it could be an ancestor, it could be a future self. The dreams are future, past, and present. That's why dreams are so convoluted, and that's why they're difficult for a lot of people, because every dream is not a predictive dream or a prophetic dream. Every dream is not just subconscious residue. A lot of dreams that most people have are just subconscious residue. You went to the park, played with your children, you watched the Titanic movie. So you had a dream where you're at a park playing with children, and then you transferred to a boat. That's just subconscious residue. But when you have people in your dream, it could really be all those different types of beings. The best thing you could do is be lucid and simply ask them, who are you? What's your name? Something I used to do a lot, especially like I had a period in my time where I was meeting a lot of different spirits, a lot of different entities. And what I did at first was I made sure that I got a name. I made sure they told me what they were connected to. You see? Then I did tests to make sure that they were who they say they were. So I mean, it's a lot of different beings in this world, y'all. A lot of different beings in this world. Especially for waking up out of Christianity. You think there's a lot of characters in the Bible, then you get out of Christianity and you read the different mythologies, and then you read about the elementals, then you read about the fairies, then you read about, ancestors. You see all these different beings or whatever. The universe, that we just want to deal with the universe, not the multiverse. Let's just deal with the universe. Within the universe, there are a lot of different species. Just look at the planets the animals on this planet. You got turtles, rabbits, horse, sheep, dogs, cats. Within each animal, then you got different breeds and species of the animal. There's not one type of dog. There's not one type of cat. There's not one type of horse. There's many type of horse, monkey. There's many type of these species, these beings on just this planet, in just this universe. So now expand your consciousness beyond this universe to the multiverse, and you'll see that there's a lot of different possibilities. Long story short, different beings on this planet. The ones that are on Google are just the ones that we have verified that people have made contact with. I have personally been in contact with beings that I haven't had any research on Google. One in my consciousness. No reference, no person I can say, hey, have you ever met this being? You see? So from my own personal experience, I know for sure There are beings that are beyond Google searching. You feel me? I'm talking about names and everything. In fact, those are kind of the more powerful ones because everybody's not pulling on their energy, tugging on their energy. Never had an ancestor DNA. Wouldn't consider getting one. It's not needed. And I say this not to belittle anyone. I'm beyond my humanity. I'm beyond being a black man. I'm beyond my gender. I'm beyond being a male. I'm beyond that. So for me to look up my ancestry, if it's not something I need medically or whatever, like blood work or something, it's null and void. Spirit goes beyond humanity. You feel me? My spirit was before humans existed on this planet. You know, I'd rather do a spiritual DNA than an ancestor DNA. You know I'm melanated, I got African blood in me, but that is the short story. I'm more so concerned with the long story. Like I said, this is temporary. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather focus on something long term. So I wouldn't consider it. Question: what special ceremony ritual do you recommend we do for best luck and prosperity on our birthday? Oh, happy born day. Happy born day. Um, I mean, you can do any type of ritual. There's so many different type of ritual. If you gave me a specific one that you were doing, I could mesh well with you or whatever. But any ritual that you feel is prosperous that can help you increase your abundance, just try that one. Let me make sure I read your question correctly. Specifics. Yeah, I don't recommend a specific one. Yeah, I don't have any specific ones you can do on your birthday. Do you work with haunted jewelry with jinns and genies? No, I don't. Okay. A root is like a curse or a spell. I think it's called a root or rook or something like that. It's a curse or a spell. Okay, how do I unblock my blessings? I am doing the ancestor altar, but still feel like there is a block. Um, what I recommend people doing is, and I made a video on this, I don't even know the name, so I'll just say it real quick. Is at next time you give an offering to your ancestors, say something like, "Thank you for forgiving me for anything I've done in the past or present that has created any negative karma." Excuse me. Thank you for forgiving me for anything I've done in the past or present that has created any negative karma. State that every time you give an offering. That'll break up the ancestral karma. Sometimes you have ancestors that subconsciously are upset with you from something that happened 2 lifetimes ago. Or you could have done something unbeknownst to you that you weren't even aware that you were doing it, but it affected certain people. What I noticed from stating that line when I give my offering, I've been doing that for years. I've also recommended to other people that were dealing with certain situations, intuitively knew that it was ancestral interruption. One case was a lady, every time she gave an offering, windows were breaking in her crib. After working with her, speaking with her, I sensed intuitively that she was disrespecting her ancestral lineage. You know, unbeknownst to me, I didn't know she was a European lady. She had European ancestors that were upset that she was more African center, more melanated center, if you would, and they were upset with her or whatever. She started saying, "Thank you for forgiving me for anything I've done in the past or present." Every time she gives an offer now, windows don't crack, lights don't break. And I'm talking, it was she sent me pictures, yo. Sent me pictures or whatever. So I would say do that. What books to start with for your spiritual journey? Man, there's so many books, man. Um, I don't even know, man. There's so many. I don't even want to do that. I would say pick a subject that you're interested in. If it's chakras, numerology, meditation, and then go to Amazon and just type in the name. Then read the reviews. What are the people saying? That's what I always say about my book, Deity Linkage Manual. Go to Amazon, look at the reviews. You know what I mean? It's 4.7 stars. It's second right now on the top bestsellers list. You know what I mean? Always in the top 10. So the people will tell you what works. So instead of taking my opinion, go to Amazon, type in what you're interested in, read the reviews of that people have left, and then make your best judgment from that. That's what I would recommend for you. There's so many books. I don't even want to just start talking book. Oh, what up, Christopher? I see you just. I think that is in the mail. Like we almost damn near next day shipping over here. I shouldn't have said that. Now people expect that. Yeah, I like Damon Brand's two books, The Words of Power and Magical Servitors. I would recommend those for sure. All the other books, I can't recommend that. Someone said buy yourself a cake and make and some candles and make a wish on your birthday. It's actually not a bad idea. That's what I'm saying. If you told me a ritual that you were doing, it's like what ritual? There's no guarantee for sure. Do this on your birthday ritual and it's going to reap benefits. Like magic doesn't work that way. Someone can do put it like this. Someone can do an elaborate ritual, magic ritual that they spend 3 hours putting together and then take another 2 hours to perform it. That's person A. Someone else, a 2 minute visualization. Both people can reap the same benefits. Magic is fluid, very fluid. Like me personally, I know I don't have to go through no light a candle, like for real. And I say this without ego. If I focus on something and I want it, all I gotta do is think about it for a little bit. If you think about it, that's what gods do. Gods manifest instantaneously. It's you have to get your consciousness to a point where you can move beyond the rituals, move beyond the tools and stuff like that. You know, I don't really like putting it out there because I don't want people to get discouraged, but a lot of things that we're doing is more holding us back than we think is helping us. You know, this is like a medium who's naturally medium mystic, like Jazzy B, for instance, Jazz the medium. She's a natural medium. That's like me telling her, now go practice using the tarot. That's like stepping backwards. You're already a medium. Now I'm telling you use a tool. When your tool was before was the mind. You see? Um Thank you for forgiving me. Ain't done that past or prayer. Yep. I've recommended that to a few people during consultation, but I think I made a video putting it out there as well. All right, I'm gonna go on about 5 more minutes, y'all. 5 more minutes. Remember to like the video, share it if you would. Also, l9shop.com, the number 9shop.com. If somebody can type that in the chat box, I appreciate it. That is my online store, me and my partner, Son Saray. That's who answers the phone if y'all call. Don't want no dudes just calling because you got a pretty lady now. You know what I mean? Like I said, I can't answer the phone anymore. Haven't for over a year now. Yeah, we deliver to the UK, international, all that stuff or whatever. All right, question. Can we create our own rituals? I highly suggest you create rituals. Highly suggest you use your own rituals. Highly, you know, I can keep saying it. If you go on l9shop.com, you go to magic. We have two visualization ritual, prosperity, easy magic or easy love ritual and easy prosperity ritual. That ritual was given to me spiritually. It was when I was driving a semi. I was in Indiana driving to I forget the name of that school. I don't want to spend time thinking about it. I was on my way to a school to deliver products, whatever. My semi truck job, I delivered to restaurants, whatever. Had a mad mushroom at a college I was delivering to in Indiana. I remember driving a semi out of the blue. This ritual just downloaded to me. I thought it was too good to be true. So I did it for a little bit. Then the spirit was like, put it on Facebook. I went to Facebook and I asked for some volunteers. Ended up getting like 20 something that they'd do it before I deleted the post. So I think I got about 10 to 15 people. I forget the exact number. Gave them the ritual for free. Once again, now I'm not thinking I'm gonna sell this ritual eventually anyway. I just want to give it and see if it works for other people besides myself. Gave that ritual out to the quote unquote test group. Everything from some one lady found money in her laundromat. She took some clothes to her laundromat and found some money. Another person got they were refinancing their crib. It was some sort of delay. Within days after starting the ritual, they got the money they were seeking plus more. Another person was on commission doing Florida. He actually sent me a donation, if I'm not mistaken. He sent me screenshots and everything. He had a job where it was commission based. So he started getting way more commission. And long story short, he became a top earner in his facility after doing a ritual. Other people, it was so many, like it was like so many. But my point is that ritual came to me. Never heard about it, never read it anywhere, nothing, man. That ritual came to me. It worked for me, then it worked for other people. Now I sell it on l9shop.com. So my point is, yes, make up your own rituals. I would do that for sure. You're welcome, welcome. Oh, appreciate that, Sleepy Hollow Tips. Oh, what's up, gentlemen? Apollo, what up, Mike? Hit me up, bro. One of the very few people that have my direct math, man. Hit me up. Like to find out how you doing, bro. Azuri, I called your shop yesterday. Awesome customer service. First order, you have a new customer. Appreciate that. And I did see your email as well. Me and Sunsaray seen it. So we appreciate that, bro. Or ma'am, if it's a ma'am. What do I think of eating meat? This is a complex question. It's just my opinion. I do believe there's animals on here that are here to service purpose as far as meat. One of the ones I can think clearly of is fish because they reproduce so much. I think fish are one of the animals that are here for humans to consume. Now, do I think that meat is something that should be a staple of the diet? I'd be lying if I say I did. If I said that if you had a choice, should you choose to be a meat eater every day or be a vegetarian? I would tell you to choose vegetarian. Do I know for sure that meat, especially the way it's prepared in America and the way we consume it, is having a detrimental effect not only on our health, our mental health, physical health, disease and ailments, spirituality, vibration? I very much think it is. Long story short, because this would be a video and a discussion for a whole. I personally believe that there's you see I'm watching where I put this. There's a concerted effort to make people consume meat, and I think it's in your best interest to consume as least as possible. All you gotta do is Google research what the stuff is. You know what I mean? You ain't really gotta ask me. Google research meat, how it's prepared, how animals live and stuff like that, blood, all that stuff or whatever. Um, but once again, do I think you can vibrate high and still be a meat eater? Yes. Um, it's really a case by case basis dealing with the individual. But do I think it's something detrimental on this planet? I think it is to a big extent. Yes, yes. When does someone's opinion become judgment? Whenever someone has an opinion, they're judging you. They said only God could judge you. If we're gods, that means any God can judge you. That means any person can judge you. To sit here and say that we don't judge people on an everyday basis, we're lying. People right now are watching this video. Everybody watching this video is judging me. If I was sharing information that didn't resonate with you, you would dislike it or you would leave a comment. If I'm sharing something that does resonate with you, if I helped you in the past, then your judgment of me is going to be okay. Ali's a pretty cool guy. You know what I'm saying? So we judge all the time. What I see people doing is lying to themselves. I'm telling you right now, I judge people all the time. I judge if you should be at my crib. I judge if you should have my phone number. I judge if I should work with you. I don't even care if you pay me. I don't work with everybody that pay me. You know what I'm saying? If I don't want to work with you, I ain't gonna work with you. That's a judgment call. Judge what I want to wear on this video. Judge what I eat for. I mean, you judge every day continuously, but people try to act like you don't judge. We judge all the time. So an opinion pretty much is a judgment. All right, let me take one or two more. Appreciate that, just fantastic. Appreciate that. Hey, what up, Moon Goddess? Christian. Okay, Asha, I think I hit on how am I supposed to serve ancestor and God when life not going my way and it's very bad today? Honestly, that's the best time. Um, this might touch your spirit, I'm not sure, but usually people find their God or Jesus or whatever in dire situations. You don't see too many rich and wealthy people in church. You see mostly poor and people that may not be contributing to society as much, usually in a congregation, in a church or whatever. But usually people find the creator or find higher beings when they're in a time of need. The best advice I would give you would be to not look at it as you're going to get something in return, but really give from the heart and really give what you can. Focus on giving. It's cliche, it sounds boring, it sounds like it don't work, but if you focus on giving from the heart, the universe has no choice but to respond with what you're putting out. It has to. This is universal laws. But if you get into the spot where you're giving and then you're thinking certain things like I'm in a bad need, or all these conflicting thoughts, which most people do. They do magic, they do rituals, they give offerings, then they have conflicting thoughts. Then the universe is going to give you more of that conflicting thought, make you feel like you're not right when you're doing what you're doing. You're giving an offering and you feeling bad. The universe will show you that more and more. So focus, be heart centered as possible. I cannot stress that enough. If you come from the heart more, everything else will fix itself. But apparently you're going through a period of time where you have a certain amount of darkness. We all have a certain period of times in our lives, usually more than one. The first one that people usually notice is before the age 30. That's called your Saturn return in astrology. Usually around 29, 30 years old, even 28, people have some sort of chaos in their life. Usually when you start a spiritual path, you also are faced with some darkness in your life. You know, I had a very dark period in my life when I was waking up to spirituality. Very dark period. My spirituality was on fleek mode. Everything else was down here or whatever. It was only you have to get everything balanced or whatever. So I don't want to keep rambling, but it was something on my spirit really wanting to speak to you very clearly and slowly or whatever. Hopefully that resonates with you. All right, appreciate that. Appreciate all the love, y'all. Yeah, yeah, I know some of the things I talk about is crazy. Like I said, though, I'm at peace with where I'm at, man. I know people are going to disagree. I know people are going to say I'm dumb. I get all that, man. It's cool. The funniest thing that happened was yesterday, man. Somebody left a comment on my YouTube on that ultimate reason why you repeated numbers, and it was like, honestly, people, look at this guy. Does it look like he knows anything about anything or whatever? Basically, I don't look like I know what I'm talking about. I fell out laughing, and at the end of the day, that person's right. Someone saying that you're great, they're right. Someone saying you're horrible, they're right. Just their opinion. I want to see people get to the spot where other people's opinion don't matter. And I'll close you with this. At the end of the day, if what you're doing, what I'm doing, what anyone's doing, if it's not helping people, then they're in the wrong line of business. If I ever came here on YouTube and people weren't saying that helped me, or you shared that and I used it, you know what I mean? If I wasn't getting that feedback, I wouldn't be on YouTube anymore. I would never show my face in public. But as long as I'm putting stuff out there, people are benefiting from it, you'll see me pop up. So don't get discouraged. And this is for people that's putting themselves out there. Don't get discouraged if you're getting negative feedback, if you're not where you quote unquote want to be. As long as you're getting one tell you you're helping them, then you're in the right line of business. If you're doing all these things and no one's benefiting, you may want to find something else to do. Now that's real. That's real. All right. So that's what it is, y'all. Remember l9shop.com, el the number 9shop.com. Remember to thumbs up the video if you would, to let YouTube know that this information is cool. And if you need anything else, I'll be back on sometime next week. Just go to my channel. I kind of rearrange things. You go to my channel at the top, it will say upcoming live streams. Also, I have all the main playlists I'm adding videos to. So everything on my YouTube homepage, youtube.com/SAli Myers. Everything on that homepage, you can see videos being uploaded. I'm uploading at least 3 videos a week. You may see the same shirt. What I'm doing is placing something different, like a different statue, so you know it is a different video. Changing a shirt every time I make a video. I record usually 3 or 4 videos at a time. So that's how you know they're different, if you see a different object in front of the video. All right. So I'll be back next week, y'all, on the live thing. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Till next time. Peace.